Let's talk about communicating with your spouse when they are not telling you how they feel, resistant, things of that nature, or even guarded and reserved, okay? I'm going to be the first to tell you that I know how it feels to deal with someone and to love somebody who does not open up, okay? Who does not want to be vulnerable or anything like that. And I want to tell you how God has taught me how to basically navigate this area with this person or with your spouse, okay? The number one thing you have to do is respect their boundary, all right? So if a person doesn't want to tell you how they feel, if they don't want to open up at all, if they're just telling you whatever they feel like they need to tell you, in order for you to get to be quiet, then do not try to go back and forth with them. Do not try to make them talk to you, because it's going to make the communication between you and your spouse a lot worse. So one thing I've learned is that if a person has a boundary, just respect it, okay? Because there's nothing you can do. Respecting a person's boundary will literally give you so much like movement with them when you allow and respect the space that that person is in. Just imagine if somebody tried to force you to talk to them. Just imagine somebody, your ex or somebody, right? Somebody that you don't want to talk to. They tried to force you to talk to them and you don't want to talk to them, right? So you're going to be resistant, right? So that is what your spouse is going to do, all right? So don't try to force them to open up. I see a lot of women, you guys go in and you begin to ask the questions why and when and questioning the whereabouts. I used to do the same thing. And I'm telling you now, it does not work, okay? A person that's in rebellion, their mind is only focused on what they want to focus on, all right? How they feel, that's what their mind is focused on, okay? So questioning them about what they at, what they doing and stuff like that, that is not how you're going to get the effective answers that you desire. Number one, respect it. If they don't want to talk about it, leave them alone. There's nothing you can do, okay? Now, I've witnessed this myself. So whenever you relinquish it, right, here comes the enemy with the spirit of rejection. The devil comes with the spirit of abandonment. All of these different things. You remember, we're talking about becoming aware of Satan, right? So when you respect it, it's like, okay, I'm gonna leave you alone. But here come the devil, all right, in your mind, causing you to worry. When you wanna look at it like this. When you begin to release it and just like respect their boundary, that is literally you telling God, I'm giving this to you, okay? See, you can leave it alone in the natural, but you have all the free will to pray about it in the spirit, okay? You got to remember that this is you, your husband, and God. You, your wife, and God in this connection. So it's not just you and your spouse, but it's you and God. Several times, if I was not able to get through to my spouse, I would always go to God and I would ask God to help me understand how to navigate this. And one thing that God will tell me is that I had to leave it alone and I had to pray. When you leave it alone and you pray and you go to God and you pray, God will move in their heart at the right time to come and talk to you, okay? But it really does depend on if you are even in a place to have a mature conversation without bringing up their sin or bringing up the past or going down their throats. I'm telling you, God has to prepare you for open communication, okay? Because you have to be prepared to have hard conversations. And even if they open up and they're not saying the things that you want them to say, they could be saying things like, oh, this is how I feel, everything's your fault. You have to be prepared for that. Like, if you want them to open up, you have to understand that the conversation could go left, okay? Like, it really could. But mentally and emotionally, you have to have a mindset where you're going to respond in a way that is effective, that's going to cause progression and delay. If they are resisting you in conversation, it doesn't mean that you have to resist them. Conversations has always went left with me, all right? Because I was so stuck on trying to get him to see things my way. I just wanted him to know that I loved him. I would pour out my heart. I had to stop doing all of that. I had to stop doing all of that and just respect the fact that he made the choice. And I had to understand that God had the final say. There was nothing I could do to change his choices. There was nothing I could say. But there is a time when you and your spouse are good, right? It's not always going to be bad, but y'all could be good and they're still reserved. Here's what you do. You leave them be and you love them in this space. When a man or a person sees that you respect, especially a man, because respect goes such a long way with them, if they see that you respect their space and you kind of back off, again, you're backing off so that God could step in. You're backing off physically, but spiritually, you're praying. So many times I knew for a fact that I wasn't able to get him to talk to me. I would just go to God and I would ask God, please allow him to tell me what's going on. Please allow him move on his heart. And God would always just put us in a situation where he would just tell me. It's so many of my friends where there's, even when their spouses ain't doing the right thing and they don't want to go and ask them, they would go and pray to God and be like, Lord, let him tell me the truth. But they would always tell God, like, I'm going to handle this in the right way, but I want to know the truth. Is he talking to this person? God would move it to where, but it's all about our heart posture and how we're going to handle it, and understanding that no matter what, God has the final say, and God is going to teach you what to do and how to deal with your person or your spouse in situations like this. This is why in your separation, you learn how to depend on God. Because you cannot be in love with somebody without God. You cannot do it. It is impossible. It is impossible. You need the backing of God to live happily with another human being, okay? I have an ebook. If you do not know and new to my page, I have an ebook called Restoring Harmony, Communicating with the Rebellious Spouse. Everything that I just talked about is in the ebook, and even more in depth, okay, on how to communicate with your spouse, what to do when the enemy is attacking your emotions, afflicting the conversation, using them against you. Everything that I went through with communication is in the ebook. I am a big communicator, okay? My spouse was not, all right? Very reserved. However, God has taught me a lot. If you need help, that ebook is in the link in my bio. Also, you will get Uprooting the Other Woman at a discounted rate if you were to get that ebook, okay? And if you know anything about that ebook, Uprooting the Other Woman is one of my best sellers, and it gets people results. I love you. I will see you in the next video.